Hey, good evening and welcome to the East County Sports Report. I'm Ramon Scott with Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. Dave, it's week 9. There are only 3 weeks left in the regular season, but we've got the biggest game of the season this Friday night to determine most likely the champion of the Grossmont Hills League. And we've got some other big ball games as well. We'll try to clean up last week's action here as we talk about the games for this week, Dave. But it's time for the big game of the season, no doubt about it, this Friday night.
Well, and I think that's exactly what the Mount Miguel coach told me. Coach V, he told me, probably the second game of the season, that just wait until league play starts, and you wait until we get to the big dogs, and then we're going to show what we're really about. And a lot of people are underestimating how good we really are. I will say they have the speed, they have the ability to throw it downfield, and burn a lot of time off of the clock. And they also, I think their weakest point though is their defense. If you're going to beat the Mount Miguel Matadors, I believe you're going to have to outscore them and beat that defense. And I've seen some a little closer than others. Grossmont, and they were later points, but Grossmont being beat, what was it, 63-26. But then you look at HELIX, and HELIX 48-35 they lost. So they were within 2 touchdowns. So could have just been that Spring Valley rivalry, possibly.
Well, it'll be a great matchup this Friday night when Granite Hills takes on Mount Miguel, Dave. Our top 2 teams here, unfortunately, I think with Granite Hills' loss at home in such convincing fashion to Cathedral Catholic, I'm afraid that we're going to be shortchanged right now in the open division title chase, even if the Mount Miguel Matadors were to win this game at home. I don't know who we're going to pick, who you're going to pick, who I'm going to pick. We're watching highlights of the Matadors win here over HELIX last Friday night, and the Matadors, they pretty much controlled the game, certainly against the Highlanders, Dave, although HELIX, they managed to come back a little bit in the game in a 48-28 final. It was the Matadors' first win over the Highlanders since 2009, reclaiming the Claymore Sword Trophy. Paris Vernon caught a pass, you saw it there down to the 1-yard line. The Matadors scored on a short run. You saw Arrington with that kickoff return. I hope that cheerleader was okay, Dave. He accidentally ran into her. I'm sure she's tough there, but Arrington showed his speed, and Mount Miguel had that return by Dominic Lopez. You saw the interception run there as well. So the Matadors just controlled the action all the way. Pablo Jackson had some moments of brilliance. To see him there in this game, but the Matadors, Dave, just kept fighting back and reassuming the lead a little bit, really is what it was, especially Delonte Williams. If you saw the sophomore with over 20 offers make that diving catch, there's Pablo right there with that late touchdown, Dave, in that one. I think we're going to get some post game here actually from Coach V in just a moment. That was HELIX was already done for the day here, pretty much 48-35. We're going to get some post game here from Coach right now and the Matadors. Let's see what we got.
A really good running back, so we know, he was going to get his yards, but our thing was just to make him earn it. You know what I mean? So I think we did a pretty good job that defensively. So we just got to keep working, man, getting back to the drawing board. But I thought it was a total team effort.
When I see the ball in there, I just go get it. I don't worry about nothing else. Just go get the ball.
No, Uno's one of those guys, man. There's a reason why he has 21 Division I offers as a sophomore. So, we seen a one-on-one, so we just wanted to throw it up and let him go make a play, and that's what he did for us.
I don't care who on me. I'll go up and get the ball. I don't care who on me at all.
So with the Matadors win over the Highlanders, they earn the right here, Dave, to go up against Granite Hills here this week. It was a rough one, Dave. We watched it together pretty much. Cathedral's 52-6 win over Granite Hills. They had too much Brady Palmer, and the Eagles really just couldn't get things going. But what it's ended up looking like for me, Dave, right now is, and they'll meet this Friday night, by the way, Cathedral and Lincoln. They play each other this week. They're probably going to play each other in the Open Division Final. Who they're going to play, that might be up for debate or whatever the rankings are. But I think our teams are too short here, Dave, no matter what. Granite Hills probably, would have the best chance of recovering back to the top because of their current ranking is still ahead of Mount Miguel's. Mount Miguel victory here, I'm just talking about either or. I'm not talking about who's going to win this game. I'm talking about how these two teams could end up in the Open Division. Granite Hills maybe is the one that still has they're ahead of Mount Miguel right now in the computer rankings. This is for the league title. It's not about the Open Division here at this point. It's a milestone game for Mount Miguel if they are going to count themselves as, well, King of East County. The winner of this game is the, likely league champs here, no doubt about it. So it's going to be a great game, Dave, and it'll get there early for sure out Mount Miguel. This one's going to be a tough ticket for sure, Dave. It's got to be one of the biggest games in Mount Miguel history, quite frankly.
Well, I'd like to think that, if they would have known this ahead of time, maybe they would have hung on to Pablo Jackson at Granite Hills, because can you imagine what a difference that would be if they still had those two running backs? Not to take anything away from, I think he had one rush from Spalding, but those two, I think that would make a big difference, and it would complement the Matadors. Great. He's a superstar over at Helix. But what I saw last week, I don't know if it's an injury or if it was just because they kept stacking the box the way that they did. Those were some very good players, especially on defense. But, he had nowhere to go. As far as every time, they didn't utilize him. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say probably total of 10 rushes, and that might even be too many. As far as our number 30, Max it looked like he was running into brick walls. And so what did they have to do? As we always have to do, we had to go to the air, and Benitez, and I'm not going to put it all on him because there was drop balls, there was interceptions that were tipped, and little gifts given to the Palmer and crew. And I just think that the ball really bounced their way. And then the defense just, after they got up a couple of touchdowns, there was no coming back. And the amazing thing was they started off with a 44-yard field goal, made that 44-yard field goal, and then, hey, let's go. Okay, let's just get the points on the board. And then it just, the wheels started falling off pretty early, unfortunately. I'd like to say that Cathedral Catholic, though, we're talking apples and oranges. No offense to the Mount Miguel Matadors, but Cathedral Catholic is one heck of a team. I think that Granite Hills has a better chance of defeating, and it should be a close one as far as Mount Miguel and the Granite Hills Eagles. And I think Granite Hills, quite frankly, is pretty upset at themselves for the way that they played on the field. It was ugly. That's plain and simple. It was ugly.
Well, Dave, I think the key for this game for me is the fact that maybe Granite Hills' best strength coming into this game is their secondary. Now, maybe Mount Miguel has enough speed to out quick them, if you will, or outsmart them on their routes. I don't know, but it seems to me like one of the big Granite Hills strengths is in the secondary, especially the safeties and as well as a covering area like you probably need to do against this Mount Miguel attack. So I'm not ready to pass the torch yet. I mean, maybe I'm thinking Mount Miguel here at home, but Granite Hills, they certainly had to be looking ahead here in this one. The computers, Dave, have Granite Hills as a favorite in this one, really by less than a touchdown. There's some alternate thinking out there that I've seen that has Granite Hills favored by more than that. And I'm still probably going to end up having to give the nod to Granite Hills here this one day, but I've got to think it could be wild and crazy. Maybe both teams could have 33, 32, 35, some type of point count like that. Maybe it could come down to some type of thriller. The teams have not met since 2017. Granite Hills won 31-13 at Mount Miguel. And I believe the last loss to Mount Miguel for Granite Hills was in 2009 when Mount Miguel won 38-21 at home. So to me, maybe I'm just going to think that the Granite Hills defense might be the best unit. It's hard. You got to slow all the Mount Miguel weaponry. We just saw it in the highlights there from Paris Vernon, quarterback A.J. Logan. You saw the diving catch by Delonte Williams. We know they have the fastest man in the county in Brandon Arrington. So, I just have a feeling, though, that Granite, if I guess they've got to keep the ball away from Mount Miguel as well with Turner. So just feels like to me, Dave, I gotta see it first here. Yes, I could take a stand here and say that Mount Miguel at home, right? Like I said, this is the biggest game. Mount Miguel played some big football games back when I was younger, Dave, real young, and championship caliber. Yeah, they've been involved in some other games since then, but this is just so big and so huge for the current Hills League title. And like I said, here's the cool part about it, Dave, that maybe we can get over this. Like I said, I don't think we're going to the open division. I don't think the winner of this game is going to make it, either it's Granite Hills or Mount Miguel, because right now there's been a serious downgrade of Granite Hills because of that loss. So you're looking at Lincoln and Cathedral 1 and 2, and then after that you've got La Costa Canyon, Mission Hills, and San Marcos. All three of those teams are 7-0 or 6-1, and then you have Granite Hills at 5-2, Mount Miguel at 6-1. Carlsbad's also in the mix too. But here's the cool thing about it, Dave. The Division I championship game. This could be a preview of the Division I championship game right here. I know this is for the league title, but I just want to point out that these two teams could easily meet in the playoffs, if not in the finals, and maybe in the semifinals. Maybe they don't meet at all, but they're going to be two of the top-ranked teams in the Division I playoffs, two of the top 4 ranked teams for sure, it feels like. If Mount Miguel loses, maybe they could end up with a 5 or a 6 seed. But by the way I look at it right now, these guys are going to be in Division I, and they could meet again in the postseason. So maybe there'll be some revenge there for the loser of this game. With all due respect, someone's going to come out the loser on Friday night. I'll take Granite Hills, Dave, to win this one 38-35.
That sounds good. And you were mentioning some of those. I want to go back to as recent as Brad Moreno was the quarterback for the Matadors for a couple of years, and I don't want to say he broke any records, but they did have some great ball games over there at Mount Miguel. I want to say that was probably about 20 years ago, something. But I saw some of those great. Let's think of Littleton. He went to the Rams, went to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just one that comes off the top of my head. I'm going to say, though, exactly the key to beating a fast team like this that can score so quickly, you got to keep them off the field. You got to keep that offense cold, and you need your edge rushers to get in there, and you need to force them to throw the ball before he wants to throw the ball, and then let the secondary do their job. But you definitely got to keep a high-powered offense on the sidelines for as long as you can, because once they get on that field, they're going to be down there. I saw what they did to the Hillers the whole time, and I mean, they were scoring at will in like 2 minutes. So I'd like to think, though, no offense to the Foothillers, but I think that Granite Hills is more well-rounded, even their special teams, as we know after that game against Perry, for the team that came in from Arizona, and we exchanged kickoff returns. So with that being said, I think Granite Hills also travels well to Spring Valley. So I am going to say Kellen Cobbs rallies the troops, and I am going to say it is going to be 41-37.
All right, that does sound good. I will give the special teams edge to Mount Miguel with the fastest man in the state on their special team. We saw him return that kick, but I know what you're saying. Granite Hills certainly have the special teams as well. So I don't know what you said. What I can say, get there early for this one, Dave. And no, Mount Miguel was winning championships. Remember, just a dozen years ago, we have Coach McDade on all the time. Coach Carlo, of course, won there. But I'm just talking about the fact that this is the big league now. That was those were the Valley League titles there. So, and that's just the way it is, right? One is the better school. It used to be geographically aligned, but it always still was kind of like you had HELIX and Grossmont and the northern teams. So it's kind of been the same a little bit here, but now we know it's broken up into the stronger schools. We do it by record pretty much now. So that's what makes this game so special. And the only thing that makes it more special is we didn't have a few bumps along the way, but we've seen Mount Miguel lose to an out-of-section team. We've seen Granite Hills taste defeat twice. And you got that, you said it, Dave. You quoted Coach Cobbs, not making excuses. It just that the team is a little bit younger than the last two teams that had such enormous success. So, yes, the Granite Hills Eagles, they reload, they don't rebuild, but you gotta take time. You gotta bring in some younger players in some certain areas. They certainly have leaders, especially those guys in the secondary. We talk about all those interceptions, right? What team would you pick, right, to go out there and compete in that? Try to get interceptions. It'd be the Granite Hills Eagles. So that's going to be a great game, and we'll get to check it out certainly. And again, this one. We could just say it, Dave. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, man. Anybody wants to watch this game, watch it on the Granite Hills Eagles YouTube channel, Granite Hills Eagles football YouTube channel, and it's a great feed. You want to see a great game, the game of the year. This is it on Friday night.
Is that VRN? Is that what the network is?
No, it's Granite Hills Eagles football. If you type that into your YouTube search, Granite Hills Eagles football, you'll be able to find it. Anybody, you can hit me up on social media if you can't find it here. Maybe I'll try to make a link to it so everyone knows. A lot of people are already onto it, but that aren't going to the game. But hey, everyone, go to this one if you can. This is one where it's going to be crowded, man. If you're not going to all the games, this is one you can at least check out with a great camera feed. It'll be from the Granite Hills side, but it is a great feed, and it'll be an awesome game.
And let me tell you, that's the better thing about the difference between the NFHS. You also get a little better lighting. Not just that, but you get the play-by-play, and they are they're definitely almost perfect, darn near perfect when they're telling you where the ball is and where, if you can't see it, they'll spot it for you. So I really appreciate the way that they show those ball games.
Yeah, it's a little different at home. They got the public address announcer. You can hear it at Mount Miguel. I don't know if it'll be quite the same Mount Miguel. They have a really nice public address announcer there as well, though, and he does a great job describing the action. So check this one out. If you don't go, like you said, look, Mount Miguel's a little bit tough to, I'm talking about the parking here a little bit. It's going to be very, very crowded. Just get there early. If not, you can check it out. All right, here we go, Dave. Great preview of that one. We're both taking the Eagles here, but like I said, we'll be talking about this matchup again. All right, Dave, we just got to sneak this one in here inside the coverage of the Val. We're going to bounce around a little bit this week because this game is on Thursday night. It's the biggest game of the season right now anyway, at the moment, because El Capitan has assumed the lead in the Grossmont Valley League. They're 2-0. The Braves are 0-2, and everybody else is 1-1. So in order to have any chance of winning even a share of the league championship, you got to beat the El Capitan Vaqueros. The Santana Sultans will get that opportunity tomorrow night, Thursday night here against El Capitan. Here's the comparison, Dave. You asked for it. Santana, of course, we know went down to Valhalla and was upset by the Hungry Norsemen, who are also 1-1 in league play, and they play West Hills. We'll talk about it. But Santana or El Capitan went down to Valhalla and beat them 42-0. So, look, Santana won this game last year in Lakeside, 21-14, but they also lost at home in 2022 to El Capitan 7-0. I remember that game. I was at that game, a 7-0 game that was decided when Chancellor Chapa caught that touchdown pass and broke way to the end zone. So this is going to be close. It's at Santana. There's no doubt El Capitan is favored by the computers by about 2 touchdowns. I say no way is it 2 touchdowns, but maybe I'm still going with the Vaqueros because of that, deciding fact. The Valhalla situation, the Valhalla games, they both had their chance, and look what happened.
Yeah, and we got the we got the 4-1-1 from Sean McDade, Coach Sean McDade, on how great his defense is doing, and just listening to his tone, he definitely, without saying it, was not too concerned on them scoring too many points against his defense. Let's put it that way. Sean McDade, too, the way he's calm about it, and I think just the way he carries himself. Heck, the first time I met him myself, Coach McDade was a head coach at Mount Miguel, and let me tell you something.
And those titles.
I will tell you, he did a fantastic job with what he had to work with. I'll even say my opinion. They should have given him another chance, maybe get him another coach to help him out. But you know what? He got the better deal anyway because he got to go over with Coach Ron Berner, one of the legendary coaches in Lakeside, and he recognized his talent immediately. What I wanted to bring up about El Cap, yes, they're 2-0 in league, and they're 4-3 overall. Just a couple of notes. They started off with that big win over Mira Mesa, and they looked like they were just going to mow everybody down. And then they went and lost 3 straight. And we were wondering what in the heck is going on with these Vaqueros. They lost to Scripps Ranch. They lost to...
Who's undefeated now, by the way. I'll just say they're still undefeated, rising up the charts. Scripps Ranch, go ahead.
Scripps Ranch, and then Chula Vista. They also...
one of their best seasons, no doubt about it.
And the Steel Canyon Cougars.
Okay, that one, yeah.
That was one I think they let get away.
Yeah. But just looking now with the game, with the result by the Cougars against Grossmont, I don't know who. If I had to put El Capitan in down, you figure I'd like to see. I would, I know we can't have a 3-team league with Helix and those, but I mean Steel Canyon and put them in this league with some of these games, and Grossmont too. We'd have some exciting games. I guess we did see it, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that was something to consider, but you do recall, and I think it was on both occasions back to back when we talked to Coach Sean McDade, is he was playing these teams with this heavy talent, so he would be ready for league, and they would be ready basically to pounce on everybody in the league because they know that it was going to be anybody's league, whether it be Monte Vista, Santana. Pretty much it was up for grabs except for poor Braves. Except for them, it was up for grabs for anybody. Since then, though, they won 3 in a row, and they are looking to win their 4th in a row at Santana. But wanted to mention, and I know he's one of the seniors and all, but offensive lineman, running back, we all know him. Caden Hallman, 813 yards. He has 16 touchdowns just himself on the year so far. I mean, the guy is he's almost not human. And then we also had one of the better kickers in the league as well that doesn't get, we don't give the kickers always. It's usually over at West Hills anyway. But they got a good kicker right down the street now, and that's in Dominic Johnson. And I believe what I read, 3 for 3. So I really think they're going to have a really good shot. And then you heard what Coach Estes said last week. There's a possibility that there might even be a freshman behind center if it comes down to that. But they've been moving. It's been a carousel of quarterbacks over there at Santana, which you got a young team. You got to find out who's going to work best. But in the meantime, just hand it off to Hallman. He'll go ahead and score a touchdown for us. And he's just been phenomenal on both sides of the ball. And let's not forget either, it's not just El Capitan that has the greatest defense. That's no slouch on those younger guys in the purple, because they have a fantastic defense as well. And we've talked to those big fellas a couple of times, and this could end up being, I know Brant, he's been throwing the ball fantastically, but it could end up being a low scoring, in the trenches football game too. And why not? That would be perfect. And I think that both sides have exactly some similar abilities in that. So I'm going to say, it's really, at the beginning of the season, you and I were somewhat on the Santana train because
Santana. I picked Santana to win the playoffs just 2 weeks ago, but now look, after this situation,
Valhalla
to El Cap, Dave. I'm going back to El Cap. In a close one, but maybe it will be a touch. Maybe it'll be 21-14 again, and El Cap will return the favor from last season. Maybe it'll be closer than that, but I just can't get that out of my mind. One team goes in there, and Santana, I think they were a little bit of a favorite, even though we both said, watch out, this is a game. Valhalla, they're
trap game.
Better, right? No doubt, Valhalla better than they've been in the last couple of years. But then when El Cap came in, El Capitan won that game last week, 42-0. Dave, they left no doubt in that game. Braden Linder, he had 5 receptions for 78 yards, including a 22-yard scoring play. Brady Geralaman, he's running great. He had 80 yards. He had a 38-yard, I think it was a reception that gave El Capitan a 3-touchdown lead. And then Barker hit Michael Valencia on a 52-yarder. Barker had 250 yards passing against Valhalla, and Brady Kopp scored a touchdown pass as well. You mentioned it. I mean, Hallman, Dave, 3 touchdowns. He also had a kickoff return for a touchdown. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, including the kickoff return. Noah Quaylen, touchdown for the Sultans. Xander Bennett, Wyatt Williams. They have guys who can score, but I think you're right, Dave. I think in this division league grudge match, it turns into a bit of a low-scoring game, and I think El Cap, with Geralman running, they've got Barker, but their receivers will have to do a good job against the Sultans. I feel like it's going to be similar last year. Maybe there's 4 or 5 touchdowns in the game, but I got to think it's close. And Santana, they at least have the home field edge here in this game, but I'm going with the Vaqueros.
Yeah, and I think it does matter when you have a good traveling set of fans, and I think the Vaqueros travel. It's right down the road anyway, but I believe that it's going to be in the trenches, and I'm going to say, because Ramon is on that side, and because I do believe in the Sultans, and I think they just got tripped up. They did lose to Valhalla. That did take away, but I'm going to go ahead, and I'm sure the computers got El Cap by quite a few too, but I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Santana 21, and I'm going to say El Capitan 20.
Okay, Dave, if Santana does win, we've got a mess in the Grossmont Valley League because Valhalla will play West Hills, and we'll preview that game in just a moment. And also, the Monarchs are probably going to win, of course. They play the Braves this week. So you're going to have, if Santana wins, these 2 teams will be 2-1. The Monarchs will be 2-1, and either the Norsemen or the favored Wolfpack will be. You have a 4-way tie with 2 weeks to play with the 4 teams at 2-1. Won't that be fun?
And that's why football is such a fantastic sport, because and the way they set up that back where they're supposed to be in that valley, that they really made it fun this year. I think they are pretty equal for the most part, but El Cap's still up there, but I can't take the Sultans out of there. I'm not ready to pull them.
You mentioned El Capitan and that defense with McDade as the leader. His defense led by Aaron Altamirano. He's the guy he highlighted last week. 80 tackles this season, but they've also got Lucas Garcia with 3.5 sacks, and Ames and Ford as well. So should be another good one here, and hopefully we're going to be able to see this one, Dave, on the camera tomorrow. I'm worried because it's on Thursday. Hopefully they'll make sure for us. I'd hate to miss this one. Okay, let's move on, Dave. And I'm wearing my Highlander green shirt here, Dave, for the Helix Highlanders. The Highlanders are 2-5 right now as they come into the game against Grossmont, the historical rivalry here. And Helix comes in 0-1 right now. We just saw the highlights against Mount Miguel. Yeah, they had a bit of a rough time with the Matadors, who've kind of taken over the La Mesa Spring Valley rivalry there. Mount Miguel, Dave, got the Claymore sword away from the Highlanders. So will the Highlanders be able to hold on to their weaponry here this season for Grossmont, Dave? We finally did get the information about 2 hours after we left the air that they had not only put up a 60-point game against Steel Canyon last week. Tommy Donovan had 7 touchdown passes and over 500
yards.
Yeah, it was a bummer because the camera wasn't working at Grossmont, so we just couldn't track this game. We didn't really get much on it at all until the stats kind of came out. But it was a career performance for Amari Riley, who caught a dozen passes for over 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Noah Walker, 11 receptions, a couple of touchdowns there. And Parker Vanderberg had a half a dozen receptions for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns for Grossmont. 60-47 over Steel Canyon. 60 points. Could Helix find themselves up against that offensive juggernaut, handing over another perpetual trophy on Friday night?
Well, and it was really nice too. We didn't have the cameras working for that one, so Tommy Donovan was nice enough to send me, which I sent to you as well, the stats for the evening, which were off the hook. And that's when he said he threw 2 to Noah Walker, 2 to Parker Vanderberg, 2 to Amari Riley, and 1 to Randy Ballard.
Got to get that one in there for sure. There were 7 of them. I only said 6. Randy Ballard. Shout out Randy.
And what he said too, Noah Walker had a big interception playing safety. So they had Walker at the safety position. Maybe it was just a little gamble. I mean, they got all those points, and maybe Lawrence just said, you know what, Walker, you want to play safety, go out there, and then he gets himself a pick. And Tommy says also he wanted to credit the whole line. It was great played game, and he was just proud of his whole offense and his defense as well. That's kind of cool, though. Noah, go out there and play safety, and then you get a pick the first time you're out there. So really just phenomenal numbers. I mean, I think those are probably numbers that haven't been broken for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely going to be moving up the ranks here as the season goes. Well, like I said, only a few more weeks, but Grossmont's going to have plenty of opportunities in the playoffs, and I would imagine their style of game is just going to fit the playoffs just fine. If I had to look at it right now, Dave, I think the tough part of it is trying to make the dividing line between Division II and Division III. And actually, our teams are so well balanced, what I was mentioning there, between teams like Santana, Grossmont, Steel Canyon, El Capitan, and Christian, that all of those teams are going to be in the mix, probably right along the borderline of Division II, and maybe a couple of them could sprinkle down to Division III. I believe the best teams of the East County will end up in Division II, kind of with maybe not great seeding. We'll see how many of these teams. Obviously, if you get a league championship, maybe they promote you. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but it's really just a dividing point. You got the top 4, then you got the next group is Division I, the next group is Division II. It's like cutting a piece of a pie or a sandwich or something into equal parts. So the only teams that are really going to get left out are the teams at the very, very bottom that don't get very many wins. Even the lower divisions have their own little pool. So there's a couple of teams, I think, that don't end up without a postseason opportunity. But if you're in this group with Grossmont and all those teams I mentioned from the East County, you're in the mix. And you're in the mix with fun teams come the postseason, like Otay Ranch, Army Navy, Escondido, Chula Vista, Ramona, Westview. Those are the teams that'll be in the playoffs with all of our East County teams, either in Division II or Division III. We already mentioned the Division I. And Helix. Holtville is likely to be in that group as well, no doubt about it. And all those incredible Imperial Valley teams, they probably are getting too much attention from the pollsters. I think the computers are trying to keep it straight, but you have right now in the polls currently, you have teams like Brawley at 6-1, Central Union 6-2, Imperial at 8-0, Holtville at 8-0. Also, Vincent Memorial at 6-1. So all these teams from the Imperial Valley likely to make an impact in those mid divisions in the postseason. So, anyways, Dave, back to the business at hand here with the Highlanders. I'm still, of course, on the Highlanders here. I think it's still, yes, Helix is supposed to be the little brother of the Grossmont Foothillers, but not in high school football anymore. Yes, Helix was the spin-off campus, and they do make fun of it, Dave, saying that the musket has never been seen or no one ever knows what that gun is on the wall in the library. But last year, the trophy made an appearance on the field after the game. Look at Ryland Jesse and the Highlanders here also holding the Grossmont towel down there. Dave says, "Whose house? G house." The fans showed up waving their yellow towels, and the Highlanders still walked away with the victory last season to retain that old gun right there. And boy, look at some of the with the engraving. Look how old some of that looks. So Helix still holds this trophy in their possession, Dave, until further notice, and I don't see that changing here this week, despite the awesome season, the awesome offense of the Foothillers. They still have yet to pass this test in many, 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 many years.
Well, I think this is, and I'm sure Coach Lawrence is going to like what I have to say. I did want to, and I think you already knew that, and you probably have already said it, but I wanted to just clarify. But Lester is done for the year. I guess it was an ACL that he did tear. Who knows what would have happened if he was behind center? But you know what? Like you said, Steve, he's been doing okay. And then I just kind of asked him. I said, "Is he on the sideline? Is Lester on the sideline? Is he taking it in, or is he just hanging out?" And he said, "Nope, he's on the sideline. Sometimes he's wearing the headset for the plays, and they're trying to keep him engaged while he is going through that injury." And I think at that age, I think that's something that I think that's just good coaching when it comes down to it, to make sure that he's involved. Because hey, you're going to compete next year, Lester, and you better be ready to go, and you better know that playbook. But that was only a couple of things that Coach Jones said. But I am going to say that my dad's Grossmont Foothillers, my mom also a Foothiller. Actually, she was a valedictorian, believe it or not, at Grossmont High School. And I think this time, the way that Tommy's been throwing that ball, the way he's able to not just step up in the pocket, but also using his legs, I think he is improving each time he plays a game. And I am going to say the musket is going to go back into the Hillers locker room, wherever they're going to put it in the library, but it's going to end up with the Hillers, and they're going to hold the Helix flag down below, probably something similar. But I think it's finally going to be done since 1991, but now we're in 2024, and I really do wholeheartedly believe that this is the team that's going to be able to do it. The only thing I worry about slightly is I hope that Grossmont can put up just enough defense. Hey,
Yeah, that's where the issue lies, Dave. They're not going to be able to stop the Highlanders. As many points as they want to put up, Helix will likely always have an answer. The computers have Helix to win this one by between two and 3 touchdowns, I would say. Although one computer has it by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going to say that it is going to be a shootout because of that defensive issue that we have there. So I'm going to say that it's going to be a Foothiller win, and it's going to be 42-35 in favor of the Hillers.
From Dave Dickens, son of legendary East County sports writer Bill Dickens, has just called for Grossmont to defeat Helix and get the musket. Helix has not lost to Grossmont since 1991, Dave. A span of 27 consecutive games coming into this one. So good luck to the Foothillers. It's been 32 years there, I guess, since they've done it. And I expect Helix to win again on Friday night. And let's just move on. Let's just go on. I got Max Turner to have a big game. No doubt, Helix has had trouble finding their rhythm in any kind of passing game whatsoever. So it's definitely a contrast of styles here. But I expect Helix to be able to move the ball freely against Grossmont and win this one. Okay. Let's move on to another big, important game here right now, Dave, in the Grossmont Valley League, because like we said, the winner of this game will still emerge with a chance to win the league title. Of course, Valhalla has already lost to El Cap, we know, but if all the teams end up, they don't do any head-to-head or anything. You have a couple teams with a loss, Dave, they're tied, co-champs. So you got to win here, Valhalla and West Hills. A loss isn't going to cut it. Right now, this is an elimination game in the Grossmont Valley League here in Santee on Friday night. Both teams come in with identical records here. West Hills won the last meeting. It was back in 2022. Remember, West Hills was in the Hills League last season for one season, but West Hills won 42-14 in 2022 at home. Valhalla last defeated West Hills in 2016.
Wow. Well, I was that now 22. Was that that was the year that they got all the way to Ramona and had that fantastic season, and then oh no, they got to one of those kind of teams, and it ended their season. But wow, it was a great run that season, but. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say West Hills, Coach Ash has got to put together 2 wins, and they can't lose. They cannot lose another game. And I think with Joey Hamilton, he needs to be playing at his very best, and I think that they are very capable receivers. They have a very capable quarterback. And I have always liked the schemes, and I've always liked the defense that they have over there at West Hills. And they've done well with their defense. The 7-0 game, we had to, I think we asked ourselves about 5 or 6 times and ask another, are you sure that it was 7-0? You just don't see those kind of games anymore. But even though Valhalla is on the rise, I'm going to have to say, because of heart, determination, and if I know Coach Ash, he definitely gave I'll just call it a speech, but I think he really gave it to him and said, this is the end of the season if we don't win this game and the next one after that. You want playoffs? We need to win this game. So, and he's probably only thinking Valhalla. We just need to defeat Valhalla. We're at home. and we're going to do it in front of all of our fans. And that's another place that I've always seen packed. West Hills packs them in. Very big fans. And I got West Hills here. I'm going to say that Joey's going to score 2 passing touchdowns. He's going to run for 1. And I'm going to say that, look, Valhalla's got some, 4 different backs that are pretty fast, pretty elusive. And then Holman, I think they have a great quarterback as well. I think Hamilton is just a little bit better. And so I'm going to say West Hills, Coach Ash, I think you're going to defeat Valhalla at home in front of your crowd, and it's going to be 21-3.
Oh my goodness, no way are they going to hold Valhalla out of the end zone, are they? But I'll take Valhalla to get a couple of touchdowns here, Dave. I'll take West Hills 28-14, somewhere around there. The computers say West Hills by 10 points, but look, the man behind me right here, he's one of the most unheralded stars in the East County right now. Edgar Jr. Leon, who had 121 yards on just 4 carries last week. He had a 90-yard scoring run. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown in the game against Monte Vista last week. So, West Hills lost that game, but still they have Leon. They also, you mentioned Hamilton. He threw a touchdown pass to Anthony Rossellino from 17 yards last week as well. And West Hills has some defensive players too who are kind of stepping up, like Junior Nunez, who had a sack in the game last week. For Valhalla, it wasn't great last week. They've been pretty good on offense this season, but against El Capitan, they had a goose egg. So going to have to improve here. And if West Hills is not quite up to par with El Capitan at this time, maybe they can stay in the game here. But West Hills at home is expected to win here in this one. You can't help but think, Dave, if Santana went on the road to Valhalla and got upset, that maybe Valhalla would have a better chance to win this game at home. But that's not where the game is this time around. So I'm going to take West Hills here, Dave, as well, by a couple of touchdowns to win this one. But I don't have them scoring just 3. I think Jackson Newman has been pretty awesome this season, and I'll take him to at least get a couple of touchdowns here, I think. Okay. Let's keep going, Dave. We're just about done here because, the big time games a little bit, I think we've taken care of kind of at this time. How about
Monte Vista?
Here comes Monte Vista. I gotta put the comma in there on this. There we go. Monte Vista at El Cajon Valley kind of ties into this game, right, in the Valley League we just mentioned last week's game. So for Monte Vista last week, Dave, it was an impressive performance with 42 points against West Hills. Dave, Ron Hamamoto, he now sits alone in 4th place all time in the San Diego section with 239 career wins. Of course, he's coached at Lincoln, he's coached at Cathedral Catholic, and now he's been coaching many years now with the Monarchs. So, look, is deserving of all these accolades here. And, hey, look at the record, Dave. All of a sudden, they're going to win this game, obviously. They're going to be 4-0 and 2-1 in the Grossmont Valley League, Dave, and they've got a chance to win the league title. Last week, they didn't need a big contribution from Villanueva, who had just 117 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Lakai Dean had a touchdown on defense. And you mentioned Rashawn Florence. He had a 52-yard touchdown reception and a 29-yard touchdown reception in that one, Dave. So they'll beat the Braves here. It's just a matter of I guess keeping the Braves out of the end zone. They haven't scored much this season, have the Braves, but they were shut out by Santana last week.
Well, and Coach Hamamoto did say that Derek Taylor has really improved. As we all know, Bean was out. What was that? Probably the second game of the season, and out for the year. Uh, we remember on the show he told us, Derek Taylor himself told us, I'm going to be throwing the ball. It's not going to be just a running team. And sure enough, he walked the walk that he was talking. And coach said he's really improved every game, and he's throwing the ball well. And everyone is now keying in on Alex Villanueva. But, that really makes them a lot more dangerous than typically they would be on just using the run. So nice to see or what did Sean McDade, Coach McDade said in the 12 years that he's played Coach Yamamoto, this is the first time he saw him throw the ball so much. So he was quite impressed as well. Which it is nice to see Monte Vista flinging it around, and I think that's going to pay homage to maybe getting a couple more wins, and who knows, they might be the sneaky one in the playoffs. That Monte Vista that Monte Vista team they're always underrated, and they're a scary team, and I'll tell you why. You just said how 239. They're going to have their 240th win for him, guaranteed. Mark my words. And I'm going to say El Cajon Valley has a long way to go. They are a very young team. They, from what I understand, very inexperienced. So it's going to be a little tough. From what I understand, also the JV team was combined with the varsity because they just didn't have enough players. Which that's a shame within itself, because just a couple years ago they were right in the mix, and we were there and watched some pretty good games. But I'm going to say Monte Vista going to El Cajon, their favorite number. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to say Monte Vista 35. Just because they love that number this year at least 4 times. And I'm going to say maybe 3 points for the El Cajon Valley Braves.
I'm with you, Dave. It's going to be 42-7 or 49-7, right in there. Hopefully, I'm giving the Braves a touchdown. Better get in the end zone here. Braves computers have them by four touchdowns pretty much in this one. So just hope for a good game there for the Braves. Just keep working a little bit. All right, gonna keep it moving here right now, Dave. Got a good one for you here with just a good one because we want to see Christian. This is not really a close game at all, but just stay healthy, get through this game, Dave, because we've got an awkward spot here with a non-league game in the middle of the league schedule. The other 4 teams in the City League will be battling it out here on Friday night. We know Christian right now is in first place, so it's their championship to lose, if you will. That's all I can say. Like, I'm saying it like that. I mean, we know they're looking great. They're the favorite now to win this league championship, Dave. They're playing Canyon Hills here. It's a big time mismatch.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I did text Jacob Moronis. As I had promised it. I wasn't gonna tell anybody what it was as far as injury per his request, but I did want to check in on him, so I gave him a text, asked him how he's feeling. He said he's feeling better, and he should be on the mend, and hopefully we'll see him at least by playoffs.
Oh, really? Oh, that's terrific.
So I gotta say, missing this kid. He's not only is he a key player, but I think he really gets that locker room fired up, and he definitely is a spark plug when he's on that field, and he's definitely a team player, and I think he's gonna be missed definitely. This is a type of game though that him being on the sidelines, I'm hoping. Why not? I mean, let him heal up. Canyon Hills, I think Runkle and crew can take care of it quite easily. Marsh will probably he's good for one at least every game, and maybe Max Turvey will turn it into four recoveries, and maybe Kai will be responsible for knocking another one out of there. That special teams has been something special as well. And then ever since Runkle got there, I can tell you that's a whole new team they got there. And then changing back into the City League, I think they're gonna own that league for a while. There's just, especially this year, there's just too many players that are fantastic on that team. Great offensive line. We've talked to just about every single Patriot on that team, and they're all phenomenal players. So I'm going to say let's just, you know what? Let's just stay healthy and in this game, and let's get out of there healthy. And I'm going to say Christian by 4 touchdowns.
Okay, yeah, I agree, Dave. I got it 49-7, something around there, maybe 49-0. Maybe, just about. We know that Christian can be very graceful in victory, so they'll win comfortably. That's not a question, but it was really the victory over Patrick Henry, Dave, last week. We talked to the guys. We talked to Hayden Jeremiah. Thought it was cool. I got social media engagements from his dad. That was awesome. And then from Scott Hansen of the Red Zone channel also responded. That wasn't about me, obviously. I was just making an update of the game, but it was neat to have Daniel Jeremiah and Scott Hansen engage on my tweet. For a little old guy like me out here in East County, that was really a highlight of my week. So thanks to Daniel Jeremiah. Move the Sticks, of course, on X, the great NFL analyst on TV. See him every day, it seems like. And of course, Scott Hansen, I live on the Red Zone, so that was really cool. But Dave, it was, we expected the Patrick Henry Patriots to give them a battle, right? But it was like no contest, really. The way, it was a 14-7 lead, but it could have been much higher. Remember, you told me that 2 touchdowns,
50-40.
Yeah, they were called back because of penalties. They missed a field goal in there. They still had 250 yards in the first half, but that defense, Dave, really, really solid. Runkle had 2 touchdowns passing, and he had a 12-yard run on an option keeper, I think is what it was. I just saw the highlights. Again, we didn't have any live coverage of the game, so it was great to get the reports from the guys, but pretty awesome, certainly. Yeah, hey, Patrick Henry, we saw them with their big play strike from Eli Ruiz to Damian Carmichael, but that's all they got was one. And they're supposed to be the big play offense. They looked the part with that first touchdown, but man, the Christian defense, Jonathan Taylor broke up a pair of passes, I think. Jordan Moreno had a sack, right? Jeremiah, the interception return, 39 yards for the touchdown. You already mentioned Runkle the Marsh for that touchdown, and on that Max Turvey recovery, it was Kai Rozier who also had a in there. Yeah, so they'll get it done here, Dave. Patriots twin. Now, here's the thing: stay healthy, because next week, yes, they play Morris in the finale, but next week at San Diego High, and San Diego is very good. I think now, seeing what we know, Christian should beat San Diego, but San Diego will be the home team in that game, Dave. So that does make the Cabers alive. The Cabers have beaten Crawford so far this season. They also beat Otay Ranch. That is a feather in your cap. They also beat Hoover as well. Good. Hoover's playing well this year, no doubt about it. Yeah, maybe they're 50th, 55th or somewhere in the rankings, but Hoover's playing above average, and they beat Montgomery, who's come back now to be 4-3. So San Diego's going to be pretty tough in next week. That'll be the game. That'll be the championship game, I promise you, even though Christian will have to play Morse as well to end the season. All right.
Well, I think that that will be a key then when as far as the Cabers go. I think that we need to definitely get Moronis back in there. Hopefully he is healthy, and I think he is a huge difference maker, especially in the running game. So I'm hoping he will be good to go by then.
Okay, Dave, and I'll just touch on these last two, and I'll thank everyone tonight in the chat as well. Great job. Thank you to everyone watching us live, and make sure you check us out on Friday night. If you haven't seen what we're doing on Friday nights, Dave and I try to get up all the information we can, go live, and then we get some stars from Friday night to join us with some post-game interviews, as we've had a great time with so many teams this season so far, Dave. Okay, Coastal Academy's favorite here against Mountain Empire. Coastal Academy, we saw that team earlier in the season, so they're going to be expected to win this one, Dave, probably by 5 touchdowns or so this week. This one is in the Sunset League. It is a league game, so just rough season here for Mountain Empire. And also one more, a big game here this week in 8-man football at Sayal Field on Friday night when Calvin Christian takes on Foothills Christian. There's only 3 teams in this league, Dave. It's Calvin Christian, Foothills Christian, and St. Joseph Academy. Maybe the 3 best teams in 8-man football. They're in their own little league, and this is the biggest game. Actually, it's not the biggest game. St. Joseph is actually maybe number 1. Maybe Foothills is number 1. Calvin's probably number 3. So Foothills will probably win this game, and the St. Joseph game will be for the league championship. And those are the 2 best teams in 8-man football, I believe. So, okay, thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us here, Dave, and our sponsors this week. As we want to say shout out here to, there it is, their only loss to Army Navy, and we're going to see. You saw our good friend Dean talk about it. I expect Army Navy to be matched up with teams in the playoffs like Santana, Grossmont, Steel Canyon, El Capitan, Christian, right there in that group for sure. And also want to point this out and shout out our good friend Montel. He's got his all-star football game on December 28th. Dave, I wonder if I can get some free tickets on that one. It's my birthday. But remember, this is key, Dave, important here, that the SDFNL All-Star Showcase for some of the best players in San Diego County, they're looking to, they may have already done so, compile their rosters here, but Montel gets some of the best talent, and if you're looking for an opportunity and you think you could go on the next level, make sure if you haven't talked to your coach about trying to play in this game. It is a great feature of showcase talent, exactly what it says there. Maybe the top few players, Dave, don't make it in this, don't play in this game, but it's really everyone who is, how can I say it, on the cusp of really the next level. This is almost a more important game because in the big all-star game, a lot of those guys might have their scholarships already. Yes, there's some other guys playing for their futures or trying to showcase their skills a little bit, but this one really is geared towards those guys that we know make up a big majority of rosters, or at least the elite players that want to play somewhere, whether it be Division II, Division III, NAIA, something like that. You see what Montel was saying, a great running back that you like, getting an offer from Culver Stockton. And we know now, in this day and age of no more NIL so far, or no more NLI either to a certain extent, these opportunities are out there for you. So if you feel like you can play in that game and you haven't been approached yet or asked yet, again, you probably just want to be, all league caliber type of player, but you just feel like you can improve yourself and make it on another level of football. And we know the truth. Dave, not everybody is going to Michigan State like a Rylan Jesse. Not everyone's going to a Coastal Carolina like Washington. So the opportunities are out there. And when you play in this game, the schools come to us to look at these players. They send guys to to the practices from these type of schools and talk to the kids on what they need to do or what they're looking for. And sometimes they find some guys to play for them. So very important. And thank you very much, Montel. Hope I got that all right. Hope I don't blow up his inbox. They might have all their personnel, but from my history of knowing how they accumulate the rosters, sometimes, some guys end up coming on late during the season too, and there's mix and matching, and sometimes there's players are short a little bit. So I know I've called that game before. So thanks everybody in the chat for joining us this week. Dave, anything you got to add? We got our sponsors, but do you have anything else about this week's coverage?
Well, I'd like to thank Montel too for just all the stuff he's done in the community and all the stuff he has done for football, high school football within itself. I had the opportunity to actually do an interview with him. It must have been 2017 or 18, and really got to know what he was all about, and his partner as well. Used to see him take with his phone, and I'd be out there with my phone, and we'd be shooting the game here, and then we'd end up meeting at the next game. But really good folks, and I just want to reiterate what Ramon was just saying. I mean, everybody's not going to be the Michigan guy, a Vanderbilt guy, USC. We're not going to. So they can help you out, answer your questions, and I think they're just they do real good things for the community, and we definitely a shout out to Montel and the SDFNL. Thank you so much, and I also want to thank our sponsors, Granite Mortgage and Lakeside Equipment. And speaking of Lakeside Equipment, I also just want to thank the Davila family so much for getting us that information when we can't get to that Christian game. He has been everything short of a superstar, and it's really helped us a lot. And he really and what's funny. His son played quarterback last year and a couple years before that. And then the way he talks about Runkle, he really thinks he's going to do big things. And I tend to agree. But again, thanks to the Davila family. Really appreciate you helping us out, because really you're helping out the kids on that team. So big things happening this week. I'm going to say at least 4 huge games this week coming up. Don't miss them, especially Mount Miguel and Granite Hills. And like Ramon said, and that is no joke, at the parking at Mount Miguel, you want to get there early, and you might even want to arrange a ride and pack as many of you as you can, and have them drop you off. They're not going to watch the game, but definitely That's the game of the year. And don't forget about tomorrow, Thursday night, Santana and El Capitan squaring off. That's also going to be a huge game for the Valley, and that will be at Santana on Thursday. That's tomorrow, folks, not Friday, tomorrow. And other than that, I think that's about it. And for Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens, and pleasure to have you on, and a pleasant evening to you.